Hello, welcome everybody to Shotcast, episode number 86. We're joined with ourselves. We're here, and we're ready to put on an absolute banger of a show. But before that, I just want you guys to know, we've been putting on a lot of detective work since last week's episode. We've been searching for, there's 4 specific teams, 4 French teams that we've been looking all over the place for, and we just weren't quite sure where they could possibly be. Well, today, we found them. We have spotted where they were. There were 4 teams that didn't join the Shift League, the French teams, and they all hopped in to flip and spin. Surely, right? I mean, it does say 4 invited. It says 4 invited teams who will succeed the Karmine Corp. They have open quals, but those 4 invited teams, surely it's just the 4 French ones, right? It has
got to be, yeah.
They've declined every other invite, and we've found them. They're all at Flip and Spin.
Yeah, when you say every other invite, have there actually been any other tournaments that they declined? I don't think there have, right?
No,
it's just
that one.
For now. We'll have to wait and see where that goes. But hey, yeah, we think we're onto something here. We think we found where they might be. So Flip and Spin's coming back. That's cool though. Flip and Spin was cool last year. I worked that event. They were really nice to work with. And yeah, it was KC with Nolly that won it, actually. That was interesting. Then Nolly didn't stay with them. He just went back to North America. But yeah, Flip and Spin's coming back. That's cool. Shout out Flip and Spin.
Hang on. We've got to. Is this true, Adam Baguette? Flip and Spin paid for teams to play last time. Now this could throw a French spanner in the works, because that could be a reason why they're playing.
Who said that?
That would Adam Baguette.
Adam Baguette did say.
Yeah.
That would make a lot of sense. An XD.
Hey, it's adding up. Am I too loud? Somebody's in chat saying I'm too loud. One in chat.
I'm adjusting as we're going.
Okay.
He's actively adjusting, turning on the adjustment.
The production team it's pure chaos back here. There's papers flying everywhere. There's fire in the drawers. They're trying to fix it all.
I mean, that would make sense. You know, the whole like appearance fee. We talked about it for big TOs. It kind of makes sense. You know, there's got to be some kind of compensation, some kind of guarantee. Yeah, for community events, that money's not there. So that was the whole discussion last week. If you missed that discussion, by the way, we talked about it extensively with Farah, for the coach of Karmine Corp. He had a lot of really interesting insights from KC's POV, and also just from his own POV. He had a lot of his own takes that, well, I mean, he stated at the start of the episode, everything's his take, you know, the classic. You know, I'm not representing my arc here. Everything I say is my words, and my words alone. The classic. But yeah, Farah was really interesting, and Jack as well had some thoughts on the matter as a pro who is trying to milk the scene for every dollar they've got.
He is just suckling on the teat of the Rocket League Esports, if you would. He's oozing, and he is just extracting. He's like a little bee, you know, just sapping all of that nectar off the esport. And you know, he has done well. He's the income streams that he's had. You know, we talked about it last. You know, if you want to get into that, make sure you check out that episode with Jack and Farah. But it's great to see that we do know. Well, actually, we don't know because they haven't announced the teams yet. But the French teams are around.
It's got to be the French teams, right?
Come on,
it's in France. But there was a comment on that thread actually that I was curious about. I'm not sure if I understand it fully, so maybe someone can help us out here. But yeah, the top comment on the Reddit thread says, "Cool to see Flip and Spin is back. Kind of wish it was a proper major LAN with the whole tournament being at the LAN, because last time it was just, you know, qualifiers online, tournament at LAN." And with more than just one region included. So, is it just France? Is it just France teams?
Is it? You can only play if you're French.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I'm confused about. I didn't see that in the announcement tweet, and I can't find that in the replies. So, is that just I don't know. What was that comment getting at here? Because every team last year was able to play. All the teams from all over Europe.
Moist played in Flip and Spin last year.
Do they mean Europe? Is it just like region Europe? Is that what they're talking about? So they want more regions like NA, MENA? Is that what they're talking about? Maybe that's what they mean.
Maybe, yeah. I think usually when it's like an EU, yeah. Maybe that's what they mean with like a proper major. It's just having it actually be international. In that sort of way.
Okay, so yeah, that's like one scare gone then, because I was worried maybe that I'd missed something saying it's France only, which, hey, there's nothing wrong with France only lands, but that would be a, you know, less representation compared to last year's flip and spin, which would be really strange. But yeah, I mean, it could be cool if you could have NA teams or MENA teams competing. I don't know if there's anything stopping them from flying over and signing up for a qualifier, or just, you know, doing what you can do these days and sign up from anywhere, see if you win. Because maybe a team could win from MENA or US East ping. It's doable, honestly. I mean, it's hard, but 80 to 100 ping, is it possible these days to win a qual? None of the French teams are in it, so it's not like the absolute best teams, we're assuming.
Yeah. I don't know. I wish, yeah, I guess that comment though is like spot on though, because I wish there was more international events, which, you know, we've said 100 times by now. But it's just a little unfortunate that it is EU only, but I'm happy to have LANs regardless. Any LAN is welcome. You know, they've had MENA only LANs as well.
Yeah, they've got the Saudi E-Leagues. They've done a few of those actually. But this is a 3-month plus notice for Flip and Spin. They've announced it. It's happening at Paris Games Week on the 25th of October. So I guess if teams, I don't know if they've announced when the qualifiers are, but I imagine it'll be sometime in the month before that. But that's obviously after Worlds. So if teams are looking for something to do after Worlds and you're not from Europe, maybe it's possible to go sign up for that event and play it. Oh, what was last year's prize pool again? Because we got to think about that. What would the earnings actually be? I'm gonna look it up. Do you think any team would actually do that though? Because we're talking about international events. You know, DreamHack's in the past, international teams would fly across continents to go to those. Sometimes you'd qualify, sometimes you would just go. And now teams are not really used to doing that anymore.
People just want to sit at home, you know, the apparently Jacks of the world, you know, they just want to sit at home and think they can just rake in the big bucks. Speaking of, now this is not a topic we had today, but this has just blown my mind. The gaming industry has taken another L. Ladies and gents, if you haven't watched this, I don't know what you've been doing. You've been living under a rock. But apparently, I just read, it just popped up for me, that the Halo TV show has been cancelled. Are you serious?
What?
Season 3 is cancelled. I actually haven't watched an episode, but I did hear that.
What, you didn't watch an episode?
No, I didn't. Did you watch an episode?
No, I didn't. Maybe that's why I got cancelled. Did you watch one?
I'm actually I'm really sad though.
Is that our fault then?
I heard about
gaming industry people that we should support.
I heard it was ass.
I heard about it for the first time.
They didn't follow the actual Halo story.
Oh, it wasn't accurate. I mean, yeah. I'm really sad because I heard about it about 20 seconds ago, and then I heard it was cancelled about 15 seconds ago. So that's
oh, you didn't know Halo had a TV. Halo had a TV. Oh, okay.
No, it
yeah.
existed in my head for all of 5 seconds, and now I'm really sad about it. So
wait,
man,
did you guys see that there was like a Rocket League movie?
Wait, what?
Yeah, wait, no. What
Are you
was
talking
that?
about like an anime thing or something?
What was that one again?
It was a live action. I didn't get to watch it though.
The Japanese one, yeah.
You say a live action. How on earth can you do a live action Rocket League movie?
Okay, actually, maybe not. Maybe not.
Oh, I don't think it was live action.
I think
like
live action in the sense of real people. That's all I really meant with that.
They just
I'm not flicking.
They removed demos. The rest is all just physics. You know?
It was 8 months ago it released, and I still haven't watched it. I have to watch this thing.
It was a Japanese one though.
It's called it's Japanese. It's called Play. All caps, Play exclamation point. You gotta watch that. I gotta watch it.
I will say with Rocket League, Rocket League's in a lot of random movies where like the kid's playing a game. It's like, I'm just playing Rocket League. Have you seen all those? Not all those, but like a few people on Twitter and stuff linking different movies where kids are playing Rocket League. Good to see. Good to see. To glow. You forget that it's, you know, other people play the game outside of just us. But Halo, really sad to see. I heard that there was a lot of kissing involved and stuff like that. Like, why are all the people in relationships? So I think they turned it into a bit of a soap opera sort of thing. I don't know. They were going for like the romantic side of Halo.
That's probably why they didn't understand the target audience. All the gamers watched that and they're like, well, that's not realistic.
What is this?
I think that was the thing. They were like, why is everyone talking? I want to see some more shooting.
Where are the headshots?
Where are the Covenant being decapitated? You know, they wanted to see that kind of stuff. So sad news for Halo. And another L for the video game industry I've just noticed as well. I'm on an absolute roll here. This is crazy. Now, this is up there with the Dr. Disrespect news.
Okay.
The World Rubik's Cube Championship stream has been banned on Twitch. Permaband.
Wait, so tell me more about that. I saw that and I was like, what is going on? Like, is this a
Well,
mistake? Is this a joke? What happened to the
Yeah,
Rubik's Cube
I think
Championship?
they discovered some Twitch whispers that were not
Oh,
great
for
from a
goodness
few
sake.
years ago. I think.
Please tell me
are
you're
you
No, I
serious?
don't know why.
Please tell me you're
I,
joking.
I don't think I don't think anyone knows.
No one
Um,
knows. Huh.
Yeah, no
Wait,
one
the
knows.
Rubik's Cube? Like
Yeah,
World
so
Yeah, the
Championship?
World Rubik's Cube Championship Twitch stream
Have you
is
guys,
banned.
just side note, have you guys ever watched Rubik's Cube kind of
Oh, they're
YouTube
quick with that thing.
documentaries? Like, yeah, I mean, the tournaments are just ridiculous. They're doing it in seconds. Like, they're completing the Rubik's Cube from seeing it. I think they get to look at it for the first time for like 5 to 10 seconds. I can't remember. Maybe they could study longer. I don't remember. But let's say they look at it for like 30 seconds or something. Then they solve it in like 10 seconds, or that's not even a good time. I think the good times are like 7, 6, or like the world record's like 5 or something. It's absurd. But there's a couple of YouTube videos on that I've seen that are really interesting. These kind of like documentaries following the 2022 World Championship, 2023 World Championship, stuff like that. It looks insane, actually. I'm impressed. It's a lot more serious than you'd think it would be for the Rubik's Cube World Championship.
I found the reason.
Why? What is it?
Someone actually copyrighted a specific sequence of moves to solve a Rubik's Cube in 2021, and a contestant here ended up using it during one of the stream segments, and the owner struck the channel down.
That can't.
No,
that's a
read the
joke.
whole thing.
I made that
That's
up, but
gotta
it
be a
sounds
joke.
real if you're dumb.
Yeah, no, that's a
I
joke.
saw that comment.
There's no way.
You buffoon. Yeah, it's look, it's a dark day, you know, when the World Rubik's Cube Championship Twitch stream gets struck down, when Halo TV show gets cancelled, when the Rocket League live action no one's ever heard of. It's a tough day. It's a tough day for the industry, but there's a couple little topics that thought I'd just throw in there, and I've got another one as well, and this is actually a main topic I want to talk about. Johnny, I'm going to throw this one over to you, because it is surrounding the Ultras. It's surrounding K Corp and their activities, their involvement in another esport known as League of Legends. But I feel like it does
that
relate to
sounds
Rocket
good.
League. But it's hot, it's drama, it's on Twitter, it's on X, and it blew up. Even Farah got involved. What happened, Johnny? Tell us.
Yeah, so it first came onto my feed just the other day. I mean, I only really follow Rocket League people and people who have been somewhat loosely related to Rocket League, maybe a couple of other people in the industry. So if it's on my notification, not my notification, what's my homepage? That's the one. If it's on my homepage, I'm like, what is it? How is this here? And I check. Okay, it's been retweeted by or replied to by Farah. So I'm going up in the chain to see what on earth is going on. So yeah, Kadrill, who's the go-to view party streamer for League of Legends, at least in English, I believe. He has said on stream I think he was just reading tweets or reading reading a tweet about how there's going to be a League of Legends LAN in France. And there's KC fan here. This is a Google Translate, by the way, that he's using. I think the Google Translate from French says, "We will be able to boot." I think it means boo. Faker with 15,000 people will do nothing. So yeah, we all know the KC fans basically saying we're gonna boo Faker. And Kid
Yeah,
took this really
what's he going to do
personally.
about it, sort of thing?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Nobody can stop us. We have 15,000 fans. LAN in France, 15K that are gonna be KC fans. We've already bought the tickets. We're gonna boo Faker. And
Could be a joke, probably a joke. Like,
Could be.
lol, this is funny. Like, you know.
It's not a
basically.
known, as far as I know, it's not a known account. It's just like some fan. It's not like, verified person with massive following. As far as I can see, it's just somebody tweeting on the timeline. And yeah, Cadro didn't like this. He says this is disrespectful, disgusting behavior. Or I'm paraphrasing a little bit here, but yeah, that got retweeted. And yeah, the KC community, I think, retweeted it, and they were posting about it, so it's like getting shared. They've got their KC community on Twitter, so literally anything that anyone from KC tweets gets immediately 1,000 or 2,000 likes because they've got their community sharing everything. But yeah, Kadrill doubled down. He says he stands by his original take. He says if you want to boo Faker, Faker's like the GOAT of League of Legends, maybe even the greatest esport athlete of all time. If you want to boo them with 15,000 people, it's disgusting and unacceptable. And he stands by that those fans have absolutely no place in this esport, so please shut up. I'm sick of these KC fans or KC Ultra fans tweeting or DMing the most disgusting things to players who leave their organization, casters who comment badly about the team, streamers who give their opinions or joke around, and even now one of the most important inspirational, or just says one of the most inspirational figures in the game who is nothing but a role model to everyone else. It's gotten to the point where people are actually afraid to be honest about KC, and that's the sad reality. I was a huge fan of KC community and even supported it when I could for years, especially when they joined LEC because of how much I thought they deserved it. Kamito has always been one of the nicest people I've ever spoken to, and it's just sad that a handful of extreme side of the fan base acts like this and misrepresents the real fans or the fan opinions by having this disgusting behavior, getting out of hand, kind of done with it, and just avoiding the fact that and people are avoiding the fact it's getting this bad. So yeah, long tweet there from Kidro, but I think it sums up his thoughts on the matter pretty well. And yeah, KC are big in Rocket League, so I thought let's talk about it. What do you guys think about that first of all before we delve into the replies?
Well, obviously it relates pretty strongly to Rocket League because the Ultras they're a truly global kind of esport gaming conglomerate organization. We obviously have a lot to do with the Ultras and the K Corp fans at LANs as well, and we love their passion. And it kind of relates to
Production got it.
We're very. Oh, you got it.
Production got it. Production got it.
There it is.
There it is in the background. If you want to, if you're watching on the VOD. If you just want to have a little glance at Cadrill's tweet, but Johnny just basically read the whole thing out. But it's kind of that fine line that ultra that hyper fans that these hardcore fan bases do kind of tread. Is this, they are so passionate for their own team, and then like where is the line cross? Can you boo other teams? We talk about booing in Rocket League as well. Do people like booing? Do they not like booing? Do you want to support your team? Is it about the tournament itself or the esport? And it's interesting. Obviously, Cadrill's, as a big, large figure. I don't know why I said big, large. It sounded weird. As a large figure in league, it's pretty big for him to come out and say that. I think it is one of those cases though where you look at the few percent that are like doing the wrong thing, and then you kind of go, oh, they're all doing it. You know what I mean? So I can see why the Ultras and the K Corp fans kind of bit back and said, well, hang on a minute, like this isn't all of us. It was just a joke, stuff like that. But it's important as well to not, I don't know, you don't want to take things too far. I don't know. Like it's kind of like he got one guy tweeted saying we're going to boo them, and then Cage was like, all the Ultras are always doing this, which, there are a lot. We talk about Rise would tweet that, he's getting threats and stuff in DMs from certain fans. But again, it's like anything. It's like the 1% of the K Corp fans that are doing it, and they're obviously the ones you look at. It's like the negative comments on YouTube, and you go, oh, everyone's doing this, or that one Reddit comment, and you say, oh, all of the RL Esports Reddit are, little shits or something. It's just that one comment that can ruin it for everyone.
Yeah, a lot of times it's just the vocal minority, and I actually think with Casey specifically, I don't even think it's Casey specifically, but it's like a lot of fan bases in general. They all of them, you've never heard of this is such a good fan base. These guys have such a good rep, We love this fan base. I don't think I've ever heard that anywhere. Nobody likes in general. Nobody likes fans of other teams in general. Because there's always that vocal minority that ruin it for everybody else. There's never a 100% nice rate from a fan base. It just doesn't exist.
Well, I'll tell you what though, it's kind of good. I mean, there's no reason really to comment specifically about good fans. It's so rare that it's almost like it's expected if you have a lot of fans that they're going to be good fans. That's the expectation. So if they are just good fans, like they, clean up after themselves at an event, or they, just go and make a ton of noise for their team and then they go home and nothing really controversial happens, no one's going to hear anything about it. But yeah, when negativity happens, that's going to get a lot of press. And when people are being negative, that's going to get a lot of clicks, that's going to get a lot of shares. So it's actually kind of, I guess, hearing nothing about a fan base can almost be a good thing. Oh, KC pulled up to an event and there's literally nothing happened. They probably were just a good job, and we only hear about the bad stuff, or we only talk about the bad stuff when. Yeah,
but also people would find anything to complain about anyway. Like KC pulled up to a Rocket League event or Worlds, and then when they lost to Vitality, they left. And it's like, I don't think they were extremely negative at the event, but people complained that they left. So it's like...
Well, actually, do you know even more about that? So when KC were knocked out of Rotterdam,
they had
the
league,
fall
didn't
major,
they?
Yeah, they got knocked out in the quarterfinal. So it was even earlier in the event, there was still, I think, maybe one other quarterfinal and, well, at least two semis and a final to go. So they were knocked out early Unless, was that on 2 separate days? I don't think it was. It was like one massive day, wasn't it? I think it was just a long day.
I think it was one massive, yeah.
So yeah, one massive day. They were knocked out in the quarters, and the fans did all leave. There was like an empty section from the KC section. There was like hundreds of them. They were just all gone. I guess they just want to get lunch or something. When the KC got knocked out, or maybe I don't know, Kamato went outside, or like the KC team went outside to meet them because they can't do a fan meet inside because there's too many of them. So they probably just went outside. But I saw like loads of people tweeting photographs of the empty KC section, like, oh, I was told that EU fans would stick around to cheer the other team on, jokingly about how they've all gone. And I'm like, yeah, that's quite funny. They're roasting KC. Fair enough. It happens. The KC have been lied mouth. They probably deserve it. But I didn't see any tweets of the same section being photographed later on in the day when they mostly came back in. Like 90% of them came back in. They all filled the section again. They weren't making massive noise because KC weren't playing, but they were there. Like they were Rocket League fans. They were just watching. They're like, oh, I bought the ticket. Might as well be here.
Was it KC fans or was it people just filling in their seats because they left?
I think it had to be KC fans. You couldn't move in Rotterdam if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I mean the section was full and it looked like they were KC fans. They were wearing KC merch and they were just sitting down, not looking too happy about like the proceedings. They didn't
just arms crossed, head down.
Yeah, they weren't like making a ton of noise like they were before, but they came back. But people don't like to tweet about stuff like that. And the same thing happened at Worlds where the section was empty after they lost. Lots of people posted a photograph of the empty section. I even made a meme tweet about them when everybody was doing the lights thing with their phones, and the KC just didn't do it. They're like, no, we don't participate in this.
Yeah.
So I tweeted like, oh, somebody get some phone chargers to the KC section ASAP, and I'm just joking about how they're not participating. But they did all like come back, and they just sat down after. Like the section did have a lot of people in it. They just weren't making a lot of noise anymore. So people don't like to, I guess, give them praise when they do come back after initially leaving, I guess, to take a break.
Well,
everybody takes breaks.
I know I said it was one guy as well. Obviously, it's not like one guy. I just mean it's a small percent. Because obviously Cadril also mentioned how he's getting threats in DMs, like, oh, if you come to the Paris LAN, just like these half-ass threats and stuff. And I understand it's not just like he saw one random tweet. It is still a percentage of the KC Ultras fans, but I think it's the same with like any hardcore fan base. There's always that minority, that small percentage that just take it too far. And I think it happens like in any sort of team sport or even political stuff. If you're a supporter of one party or another, there's just always that small percent where it's like, someone's like, oh yeah, no, I love this team, I die for this team, and then one guy's like, yeah, let's kill everyone. And it's like, whoa,
no, in-game.
There's always in any like hardcore fan base, whether it's politics, whether it's sport, there's just always that small percent that, we're like, oh, I love this team. You say like, I'd die for this team. And then there's that small percent like, I'm literally going to die for this team. It's like, whoa, we didn't actually mean it. I think it just happens in anything. And because the Ultras are such a hardcore fan base, you're just going to get that, whether it is that 2, 3, 4, 5%, that just like take, and like Kameto's not going out saying, yeah, let's boo Faker. Like, it's not like it's coming from the top or anything. It's just those, I don't know. It's just like that weird, that small percentage of people that it just take it too far, and it ruins it for everyone else.
I gotta add to this, just in general. This is not a KC specific thing, but you just don't boo Faker. Like, that's my goat. You just don't. You cannot boo that. If you're a fan of League of Legends, you cannot do that. It's just not right.
I mean, it's ignorant to do that. You're just exposing yourself as an idiot if you boo Faker. You're like, what are you doing? He's
just a hero. He's just
done so much for the esport that you're here for. Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's insane.
Having said that, I think John does raise a good point as well. It would be nice to kind of see from the top down, perhaps a little bit, because obviously it's I don't want to say it's common with K-Corp, but there's a lot of instances where you see DMs and these threats and stuff like that coming through, and maybe a few negative experiences on LAN, stuff like that. It will probably be nice to have that called out, whether it's by Kameto or from the top down at K-Corp, just to say, hey, we don't stand for that. because I guess sometimes silence can come across as, I guess, not, you know, they're not supporting what they're doing, but it's just, you know, not exactly advocating against it because, you know, and I will say we're kind of, I'm generalizing saying, well, every team has it. Obviously, K Corp, they're kind of, I think it's a larger percentage, unfortunately, than other organizations or fan bases where there is this negativity. I just think I don't know if it's a, you know, I don't know their culture and stuff like that, but they are just so dedicated that, you know, to I guess anyone else, we're like, whoa, this is a little bit too
Well,
much.
it's different. Like they're not at the esports events they go to for the esport. They are there for
Yeah.
K Corp. That is the only thing they care about. So it's a different type of fan. So yeah, I mean, I don't even think that the Blue Wall, the K Corp fan base, the actual ultras that are coordinated and all that, I don't think it's even run from the top down. I think it's run by a separate entity, if I remember correctly. Maybe somebody in chat can confirm that. So yeah, I'm sure that as from, you know, the little French I understand and, you know, for the English I've heard from the official K-Corp stream being spoken, they all seem like they have no ill intention toward any other teams and have not actually started any a drama at all. From, like, it's not like they've gone out and gone on a witch hunt. And one thing that is probably worth reading in response to Kedrill's tweet is Kote's reply. Kote is he's got 290,000 followers on Twitter. I'm actually just going to Google translate his bio so I don't get this wrong, because what his title actually is. But yeah, he's up there in KC. What's his official job? I'm not sure what his official title is, but he's one of the big guys in KC. He replied to Kedrill. Maybe our producer can get this tweet up on
Already
screen
a
as
big
well.
guy.
If people want to pause and read it. Oh, amazing. But for those of you audio listen, I'll quickly read through this. You're replying to the Kedrill double down tweet. He says, "This is the most absurd and unnecessary drama you've started this year. Not hard to see that it's a joke / nothing serious." Goes on to say, KC fans have attended numerous events without creating any problem. Last year, we welcomed T1 Valorant team who played in front of 28,000 KC fans at KCX3. There was no issue at all, and all their players said it was one of the best events that they attended. We even had Koi in 2022, and with the rivalry and everything. Koi's the massive Spanish org, so it's obviously Spain, France, big rivalry in the streamer world. They played in front of the fans, no incident occurred. They have attended multiple events from LFL, VCT, RL. We got to mention, etc. No incident. Thinking it would be totally different for T1 LOL team in KC home country in the event of our partner Red Bull, and creating such a mess about it is just stupid or totally dishonest. But in the end, with how often the fans are being badly painted, they will obviously end up being mad at you. Some will go too far, and you will be able to say that you were right about them. This is a classic in the industry. So, I mean, he's right. Yeah, there are going to be some fans that go too far. And if you're going to generalize the whole fan base about those fans that do go far, or too far, I mean, yeah, it's not correct. It is a vocal. We've got to acknowledge it's a vocal minority. But yeah, thoughts on Kote's reply here, guys? What are we thinking about this? I think it's pretty reasonable, personally.
Yeah, I think the whole "it's a joke" thing is a massive cop out though. Like, you know, obviously he's speaking for another fan, but I think, you know, being able to say anything in this, like, it's just a joke, bro. Like, you know,
I don't think it's a joke, but what about not serious? Well, not he says
yeah,
joke / nothing serious. I don't think it's like a serious.
but I think when
Maybe.
there's also, you know, from Casual's POV, when he's also getting like threats of like, come to this, and, you know, the way he's kind of bundling it all up into one thing. So whether that specific incident, you know, saying, oh, we're going to boo Faker is obviously a joke, he's kind of thinking, well, I'm also getting threats saying, don't you dare come to Paris, or, you know, all these other threats and stuff. So he's kind of putting it all in one. And then it, you know, well, okay, how many things are not serious? How many things are a joke when when the quantity of, you know, it's not just one tweet. But I can see that specific tweet, them saying they're going to boo Faker, they're not going to do it. Having said that, I think John was saying in chat at KCX, T1 went, and there was some booing there. I don't know if that's confirmed or not.
Did they all boo them, or just a couple of people booed?
Well, that's also the hard part, is because, like, this, like, I mean, we keep mentioning this, but this is literally just like, well, it's not one guy, but it's a grouping. You know, the threats and then whatever. But I'm sure most of the fans just like don't even say shit. They're just there to support their team. You know, they're showing up to the events, having a good time, doing the chants, all that good stuff. But like, as soon as it's over, they're like, all right, well, I guess we'll just go home. You know, it's like most of them are probably just that way. And so, like, to generalize an entire fan base, I just don't think is. I mean, I guess you could call out individual fans or individual people, I guess, but it's like, at that point, what's the point? You know, then it's like you're giving more attention to it, and then Now clearly it bothers you, so now you're gonna get more of it. I guarantee since he made those tweets about Casey, he's getting more and more. Like these people weren't, or like some of the Casey fans, like Cadrill, wasn't even on like their radar, like the troll ones basically. And now that he's made the tweet, they're like, oh well, time to go fuck with this guy.
I'm sure it's gotten worse.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's gotten worse, and I don't think he would
so
have
it's one
made
of
this
those things.
initial
It's like
tweet
if
to
you
try and
speak
improve
about it, it's bad. If you don't speak about it, it's bad. So it's.
But from reading other tweets, Cadro replied a bunch of times. I'm not going to read out every tweet. There's way too many, but he does seem to be indicating, like CJ said, that there's been an ongoing, drama with, KC fans threatening him, threatening other people in the industry, threatening like, former KC players, etc. I mean, this just he didn't give any specifics, but he, mentioned that there's ongoing and a quite common theme with all this. But I mean, we don't know until there's more specifics. We're pretty much speculating there. But I mean, yeah, there are always going to be some crazy fans who are just spamming you. I mean, I usually just mute people personally. I don't know. Maybe it's just too many. I'm sure it would get tiring if you're like every day you look at your notifications and you have to mute 20 people, and that's the start of your day. I would never want to go on Twitter again. Honestly, I'd be like, oh, this is a waste of my time, waste of my energy. I wouldn't click on it. For me, we're nowhere near the attracting the amount of notifications and impressions Cadrill is. So I can't imagine. But I mean, right now for me it's manageable. Whenever I get hate, or I've never had any I think I've had like a couple threats here and there, but nothing too crazy. Just mute people. It's not too bad. I wanted, before we go to something else, I wanted to ask you, or I wanted to pre-jump with the obvious question that people will follow up with, and that is, why do these people have a problem with booing? So we've talked about it a while ago. I don't remember when we would have talked about it in Chalked, but every time I see this topic come up in Rocket League, a bunch of really hard, like tough as nails, just made from steel Rocket League fans saying, hey, why do all these softies hate booing? I love booing, and in fact, if I buy my ticket to a Rocket League event, I'm going to boo whoever I want, because not only am I hard as nails, I'm entitled to boo
This is my
whoever I want.
hard-earned money.
So,
and I'll do what I want.
I want to pre-jump that question, but first we'll say, hey, you're not hard for booing a 15-year-old who just flew from across the world to play carball. Okay, it's not the same. And just because you've seen your favorite like sports athletes who, I don't know what sports you watch, but multimillionaires getting booed, it's not the same when it's like part-time Rocket League youths, and in some cases young professionals. I just feel like it's a weird vibe of like, why are we booing this?
I'll keep it a buck.
17-year-old.
I'll keep it a buck with you. I don't really care about booing. I don't mind booing. If there's a group of people and like if for some reason CJ walked on stage and everybody booed in like a memeing way, and then
if it's memeing, it's fine.
But to CJ though, that's fine.
I would be like, boo, this guy's. But if it's like a 15-year-old, like I'm kind of with you. But like I would boo in any situation. If like the group did it, I'd just be like, oh hell yeah. Boo! This guy sucks. Like
it depends on the situation.
There's just no way though. Like some play, I just feel like it's not the same. It's just I don't think it's just cringe behavior in a Rocket League context most of the time. There's been like some cases where it's funny, and the crowds in Rocket League do kind of unite against KC fans when KC fans are going a bit too hard. They just turn everybody else in the arena against them. They like doing it.
Yeah, just a booing battle.
Yeah, hey, if that's what they're about, then
which I find is funny. If both sides are booing each other, it's kind of comedic.
Yeah, when it's a part of the theater and stuff, but no when it's just like randomly shitting on someone for no reason. Like it was, or I don't know. Like you think about the Com one at Landon 2.0 when he was kind of like bring it on, and then it was kind of funny. And everyone's going into it. Yeah, and then everyone's going into it. He's talking trash like that. That's cool because it's as I said, it's a part of the theater.
Heel. Yeah, he played the heel.
But when it's like just randomly, let's just shit on these kids, and then it's kind of like
Realize hops on stage and people are like, boo! It's like, why him? Yeah, he's so nice. Like this is out of nowhere. No, I don't even think anybody's booed Realize, but.
I think we've said this before, but I know there's always new listeners, new people tuning in every now and then, but I think every team this year so far at Copenhagen and London has got a good, well, all the teams have made crowd, which is, I guess, just nine teams in total, so not that many teams. But yeah, they've all gotten love, at different degrees of love, but they've all gotten cheers and they've all gotten, there's always like clapping and cheering. I don't think I've heard a team just walk out to just majority boos this year, which is pretty cool.
Mhm.
So I think it's been good vibes in Copenhagen and London.
I think it's just I think it just depends like where it comes from. You know what I mean? If it's just like oh, it's just off on my let's do this, or if it's just a bit of fun. I remember again landing 2.0. I think it was G2 didn't make the crowd day. I was starting where is G2 chants because I thought it was just funny, and everyone it was like where is G2 because it's just funny. Like I think that's funny. Obviously they're a top team. They probably should be there. Like that kind of stuff. And I think there's more creative ways to kind of not shit on another team, but just kind of, add to the theater and have a bit of fun with it rather than just, oh, here's these 15-year-old kids. Let's just boom because we're going to go for the other team.
That's also way less personal than when they're on their like walkout or whatever. Like, yay, they just been announced by Stacks. This is so
like,
hype for you guys.
just
Happy to see
pointing at
them.
You
Actually,
either
no, I'm not. Go home. So they're just like, okay. Okay, we'll just go home. Now, the only team I've really heard getting booed a lot is FaZe, and I always thought that was more to do with the org than the players when they played for FaZe, because now First Killers joined Gen G and they don't get booed. So I think it was probably just FaZe, the org. That was my speculation at the time, and I haven't changed my mind on it. Yeah, let us know. Let us know. It's always an interesting ongoing discussion, and it will. I can already tell it's going to be a discussion around Worlds with
Yeah,
Worlds
so
being back in Dallas.
if you guys are at Worlds, be sure to boo, especially Johnny's favorite teams.
Boo.
Yeah,
just boo me and CJ,
As soon
honestly.
as-
Just boo us.
as soon as we start talking.
To Johnny.
Just boo us.
Boo.
Please.
I think that if that happened, the camera pans to us, then the players on the stage will just be like, "What is going on?" They'll be so confused because they can't see what the camera's looking at.
Yeah,
They'll be like, why are they booing us?
I think it's just doing it at the right times. Like when someone makes a prediction, Gibbs does something, he predicts that EU team boo, or T-Bates picks an NA team, and he's like that kind of stuff's fun. I think it's just more as you said, like the direct stuff, like during a walkout, like booing, just cheer louder for the team that you want to go for. But there's other, booing just adds. Yeah, you don't just want everyone cheering because that's boring. Like you want some negativity, but in the right way. It's not just we're just going to boo them for the sake of it. It's like let's boo them because they add to the be a bit creative with a chance and stuff like that. And we were picking on the KC Ultras for a little bit. I need to pick on some NA fans, and it's not Rocket League fans. Because I've been watching the golf, the Open Championship, the British Open, if you want to call it, but the Open Championship is just concluded over at Royal Troon in Scotland.
It's just down the road from me, yeah. There's
down the road.
Americans, there's Americans all over. Hey, before you get to yourself, Americans all over the place. For goodness sake, why are you guys always looking for McDonald's? Why are you so loud? And why do you dress even worse than Glaswegians? You're making Glasgow look like Milan out here. Like the fashion sense is something I've never seen before. Yeah, they've just.
Well, let me add to it because this was seriously starting to get on my nerves. Because clearly there's a lot of Americans. Well, obviously, they love golf.
There are so many of them here.
They love golf, and they will travel for golf because nearly every single tee shot that happened, off the tee, hitting the driver, for your tee shot, Rizzo, you familiar? Good. Every single tee shot. As soon as whoever it was, didn't matter if they were American or British, hit it, you just hear these Americans going, spit on that thing, spit on that thing, like every single time. And like the first time I heard it, I was like, that's kind of funny. But when you do it 65 times in a row, and it's just this group of American blokes that are just pissed going, spit on that thing, Scotty, get him. Like it just... Like I was like, let's have something else. Like, give me something else, guys. So there's a little knock to the NA fans out there. I'm getting sick of hearing it. It's funny at the start, but after hearing it 50 times, can't have it.
Looks like you never played golf the real way, the American way.
No, actually,
That's
funny enough, I was at Top Golf this morning because it's cheaper in the mornings. Me and my mates went there for like Top Golf, had some breakfast. There were so many Americans there with their own clubs. They've brought their clubs to Scotland, and they're like at Top Golf at 10 a.m.
Wait,
with their own clubs. It's incredible.
How did you know they were American? By the way, CJ.
It's not hard to tell.
How did I know?
Talking about on the
on the spit on that thing incident.
It's really obvious. The accent stands out clear.
Oh, you're telling me if somebody says spit on that thing, you know they're American?
Yeah, you could either follow up afterwards, like they're cheering, like, "Come on, Scotty, get him, boy! Come on!"
Oh my face!
Come on, spit on that dude!
Come on, Scotty, get him, boy! Big chef.
Okay, now I have to find a clip of him saying "spit on that dick" because I need to know the context of what you're talking
I'll
about.
find one. I'll find one for you. But yeah, look, fans, look, we love them. There's room for booing, there's room for negativity, but I think it's like in the right way. You're not just like, I hate this
Creativity.
person, so yeah, like be creative with it.
Yeah.
And don't just do it because you're like, oh, like I actually hate this person, this team. It's like, oh, we're going for one team, the other team. Let's be creative with how we do it. I think you can boo, but it's in the right way.
How about you don't tell me how to yell at a stadium, buddy?
Sorry.
With your hard-earned, bought with my own money ticket. I'll boo who I want.
I'll boo who I want.
Nice. Is that what I sound like? Cool. I'll boo who I want.
Oh, there's so many hard men on the timeline after Dallas the first time around. I couldn't believe it. There's so many tough guys. Like, look at them all. They boo who they want, and then they leave when they want. They're just incredible, different breed. I'm sure we'll have another go at that.
I will be
after
booing
Worlds or before
all
Worlds.
the non-G2 teams. I just need that to be known.
All right, I've got a final little
days.
topic for us here, and that is going to be something that we didn't get to last week because look, I mean, we were just on this French team not joining
We went on a
tournaments
tear.
for
Well, Farah went on a tear last week.
Farah somehow, I'm glad he didn't speak for himself. Sorry, I'm glad he didn't speak for
did.
K-Corp because he was only speaking for himself. Because if he was speaking for K-Corp as well and his organisation, that could have been a long episode. But no, we love Farah. We didn't get to this topic though. He went in. It was fantastic, and that is the FIFAe World Cup. We didn't really we haven't dived deep or done a deep dive into it on the live chalk. Now I'll give you a little hint if you're not on the Patreon, if you're not in the bonus episodes. We did do an episode on the FIFAe World Cup where we went through our hypothetical teams for each nation, each country, and we tier listed them as well. We ranked them on a tier list based on how we think they can go in their team. So if you want to check that out, patreon.com/chalkcast, make sure you get on there and check that out. We got bonus eps coming out all the time. So we actually we'll have a new one coming out very shortly.
Yeah, you're not going to believe where we ranked the US of A. If you are a hate watcher,
it's just like a
you're
YouTube
going to want to tune into this
won't
one.
believe.
Yeah.
You won't believe where we put
happens
France.
next.
So yeah, check that out. But FIFAe World Cup, we have talked about that it got announced, didn't we? Did we? We did talk about it.
I don't know if we mentioned it on a live show, but we
did.
definitely did not go into detail about FIFAe. And this was announced a month ago, by the way. This is 28 days at this point.
Okay, but it's also I do love that FIFA just reads FIFA. That's phenomenal. It's just going to be hashtag FIFA every time it's happening.
Oh, you can tell by the accent it's FIFA.
Yeah. So the tweet from Rocket League Esports. Wait, no, did they announce it? No, they announced it at London, right?
Yeah,
That's
London.
where we saw this. Yeah, London announced it. So they say it's the first ever FIFA World Cup featuring Rocket League. 16 nations from across the globe, and they're selected based on representative from each country. Yeah, of course. But yeah, they say more details coming. But we've heard is it through the grapevine or is it some separate announcement? I can't remember where. That it's going to be the 16 teams or 16 nations are invited based on our LCS performance, right?
It said like 16 best performing teams.
That is what their
Best performing
specific
teams.
post said on the website. Is
Right,
that
on the
like
website it said
based
that.
on major appearances, essentially,
Okay,
and worlds, I think.
that's interesting. Yeah, I really wonder if that means that countries like Spain are just screwed because no Spanish players made a LAN.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess CRR made a LAN, got 2 wins.
Well, hey, what do you?
Dorito as well.
You're missing 3. Missing 3 big ones.
Who am I missing? Oh,
3 Spanish
for
players.
goodn's sake, I am missing. I can't believe I forgot this.
Yeah, they got a lot of representation there.
No, but they're bringing
Team
the
Mobula,
average
buddy.
down though. They're bringing the average down. They're not helping out the cause. If that's are they
VK
gonna- I mean-
is looking nice on land though. Question on the qualifications? Could you do like a bundle of different nations or something? I know it's hard to do because you don't really know how good teams are, but could you do like
I know what
this
you mean,
qualifier
right,
is
yeah.
for honestly like Eastern Europe or something, but you do that and whoever wins, obviously you still represent your own country on your team, but then they get that spot like regional. Do you know what I mean? Like is that one way to kind of
I
balance
think it is, but it also adds another layer to it, which I think is
Yeah, because the second team could be really good, but they don't get a
it's
qualification.
just so
you know
much
what I mean?
easier to just like fight 16 nations and call it a day. And I don't know if that's what they're gonna do, but that's my assumption.
You could do well. One of the common ones is Benelux, Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg. There's, as far as I know, no Luxembourg players, but Belgium and Netherlands both have decent teams. And if you're trying to decide which one of them should go, then yeah, letting Belgium and Netherlands compete against each other for one spot would be a cool way to figure that one out. Maybe. You could also have that with Chile and Argentina. You could have them play against each other. Because Brazil are kind of clear in Sam, but Chile, Argentina are the next in line. I don't know how they're gonna do it exactly, but I just really hope that they get Japan in there for the APAC representation and South Africa in there for SSA. Because although they're still newer regions, they're still newer nations. They I think need it feels smaller if they're not in it. I would say the whole event just feels smaller if it's just Europe and America, Brazil, Australia.
I also wonder how they
Arabia,
would do the format for this. Like, are they just gonna throw everybody in a big double lim? Are they gonna do a Swiss
curious.
potentially?
I mean,
like, do they just copy
I don't know who's
major format?
who's like running it. Who's like are they just
FIFAe.
doing it all in house? FIFAe, are they doing FIFAe in house, or are they roping in support from Epic or from Blast? I don't know who they're
That's a good
working with.
question.
They got to be working with someone surely if they're gonna invite the right teams and know what format to do. Unless they're just
They could work
Shotcast
with
listeners.
us.
Yeah, maybe they're
Yeah.
listeners to the podcast. We should give them some ideas. They
If
should
you're
just
if you're
honestly
listening,
sub to the Patreon. FIFA sub to the Patreon. We even tier listed the teams. We made
That's
it
what I was
really
gonna
easy
say.
for you guys.
Actually,
we've got
yeah.
it all drawn out. We even like talked about who the teams would be. Shout out Wikipedia for that really helpful resource. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really interested. It's a different way. This is what I like about it. It's just a different way to watch Rocket League. It's nations instead of just like the same thing over and over again. It's like here's 3v3, also more threes and threes and threes, and here's another threes event and threes. Like I'm like, okay, can we? Threes would cut with all these orgs. I'm like, great. I've already seen these matchups. I've seen this before, but this I've not seen. I've not seen the nations international since a bit.
Well, that's why. Look, I know you don't agree with me on this, but that's why I kind of wouldn't mind seeing like you can't play with your full team, just because like if
that's an interesting one.
Because if say G2 Team America just go out and sweep the whole thing, I'm just like less. I'd love to see USA with. It's just not G2, just because it makes it a little bit different. If they win the whole thing and everyone.
That's because you're not a patriot.
No.
Hang on. You hate this country.
No, I'm not saying that.
What the hell's wrong with you?
I would love the US to still win it, but if you couldn't play with your own team, then I think it just adds a bit of variety for you know what I mean? Like no one's with the same team, like everyone's on the same. I don't know. Maybe people aren't with me if you're an NA fan.
The affected teams, well, the affected nations by that, the main affected nations would be USA, Saudi Arabia, Brazil, France, Australia, and that's probably it, I guess. Oh, South Africa, maybe Japan. I think it would affect some other teams. I'm forgetting maybe Italy if they're able to compete somehow. I don't think they have made enough of a splash this year in RLCS to earn a top 16 nation spot, but they do have.
Is anyone with me
teams
on this? I know you guys aren't. Is anyone in chat with me? I just wouldn't mind seeing a bit of a. Some people might say, "Oh, it means nothing and it's a mix-up tournament," but it's not RLCS. So I wouldn't mind just saying, "Hey, you can't play with your RLCS team, and let's just." But I understand the idea of but if they're just the best three from the country, then they should. Look, I understand that. I just think it. I don't say tainted, but I just want to see a little mix-up. It's a different tournament. It's an off-season sort of thing.
I'm a bit indifferent on it, honestly. I know I just yelled at you. I didn't mean that. It was a little aggressive. I didn't mean that. But honestly, if they do it either way, say you can play with your full team, you can't play with your full team, I'll watch no matter what. Either way, I'm interested. So it doesn't really matter to me.
I'll tell you why I hope they don't do that, because I think, I would watch. I think it would be interesting if they made that rule. I would be like, okay, fair enough. Let's see how it goes. I'd still be into it. But I think I would prefer it if they allowed full teams to compete, like G2, Falcons, Furia, Vitality, other teams from around the world as well, Power. I think it would just make it more legitimate, because if, let's say, I mean, what is it, a 2/3 rule or a 1/3 rule? Are you not allowed to play with any of your teammates? Because if they make it that you're allowed to play with one of your teammates but not the other, like, I guess Rip Atomic, right? Like,
you
what
just
did he do?
boot
What did he do to
somebody.
deserve this? Reducin, maybe he really would be
I don't
job
think they
secure
would.
Reducin anymore. But like, I'd feel bad for those players. But then, what if,
Mm.
some other nation wins? Like, I don't know, Falcons grab like
There's a
Singapore or
copium, I
something.
know. Like,
And
oh,
then
but they could have
everybody
had
in
this. Yeah.
everybody in USA would be coping if Falcons like win for Saudi Arabia. Everybody in France would be coping. It would make the win like have an asterisk against it, no matter who wins. If
Mm.
USA win, if France win, if Brazil, Saudi Arabia, whoever wins, the other fans from around the world are just going to say, well, it wasn't the full best. If G2 had Atomic, if Vitality had Redosin, then you would have lost.
Yeah.
Or it's not fair. Why are they able to pick up this insane superstar and we have to downgrade? So I wouldn't want to see I'm the copium police. I'm trying to stop the copium before it even happens here on this
Yeah,
one.
I will say, like, Spaceman makes a good point. It's hard because Rocket League is just 3 players, and in most other sports, there's more than 3 players. Obviously, with football or soccer, you've got 11 and subs and stuff. Basketball, you got 5 and subs. So it's more likely that it. Also, should I say the other way? It's very unlikely that the best team, also every single player in every position on that team is the best player. So you're gonna get the chopping and changing.
Yeah,
You're
I
gonna get a
see.
manager, a coach that actually picks just the 5 or the 11, whatever, best players in that nation. Whereas in Rocket League, I think it's harder to if you've got a team of 3, usually you're just going to go, if they're the best team, I'm going to pick those 3 best players because there's only 3 players. Do you know what I
I've got
mean?
an idea then. Do you want a cool idea? So they've announced that there's going to be 3 teams plus 1 substitute representing each nation. If they wanted to make it really cool, hey, you're flying out 4 players already, then what about you make it all 4 players have to get a game win at some point in the series? So you'd actually have the sub playing. Like, it's kind of like you know, they're rotating. Let's see who can really have a deeper roster. Because if you've got 3 insanely good players and you can't win with a 4th best player, like, are you really the best nation in the world? If you don't have that ability to adapt, does having the one best trio make you the best Rocket League nation? Because this is what I was trying to figure out. I think it kind of does in a way, but if you have like why stop at 4? What about 5? You could do some kind of conquest format, or 6, or even 7 players. It's a best of 5, and all of your entire roster has to win 1 game at some point during the series.
Damn.
You got to keep swapping. That would be crazy. I think that would be insane.
I think the idea of me just wanting to, there's never going to be another. Well, I say never going to be, but like this is the only chance really outside of the RLCS season where we could have, true, let's see an LJ in different combinations of G2. Let's see, these other players. Same with Mina. Like, let's just the idea of being able to mix up the teams a little bit so it is different from the RLCS. Which would be fun. I know, I guess having an extended roster idea could be cool. I just like the idea of just mixing it up a little bit, just so it's nice and fresh. As you said, we don't like always just having 3v3, another 3 tournament, another 3 tournament, and this is a way to do it. But understanding that it's only a few teams, because a lot of the other teams, including some of the French teams, will have to have
KC,
a different player.
Gentlemates, you've got BDS. BDS and Gentlemates both have a Moroccan on the team, who incidentally will probably be teaming up with NAS, I would imagine. They're by far the best 3 Moroccan players. Now Gentlemates and BDS both need another French player. Vatiro's on the table. Who's the 9th? I don't know. The ninth is unclear. Who will be the 9th French player? So it's kind of interesting. Maybe a Sizen, maybe an extra comeback, maybe a new player like Mitzer. It's like really interesting to see who these like big teams would grab instead of their current roster. I mean, KC's roster is 3 different nationalities, so I don't know if Vatiro wants to pull in another couple French players under the KC banner, or does he want to go play for another org as a pseudo KC, kind of like BDS/Gentlemates conglomerate? KC Gentlemates would kind of go crazy though. Imagine they allied with Vatira joining up with Juicy and Seiko. The 2 biggest fan bases in Rocket League are now supporting the same team. It would be insane. But yeah, I think the more restrictions, the probably harder it would be to manage, and there would always be like copium / some orgs and teams complaining that it's not fair for them. So if you just let them decide, hey, as long as you're all from the same nation and you're signed up, it's good to go. You can decide. Let the orgs, let the teams decide how they want to make that work. Maybe some nations are going to say, hey, we want to win this thing, so let's get our best players and combine them. Let's just see. Run some internal kind of 6-mans to see really who the best 6 players are. between the
Yeah,
top two
it'd
teams.
just be cool to have, every nation has their manager, like soccer or football, and they get a pick. Anyway, but in Rocket League, they're probably going to have the best team of 3. This leads into it, though. I got a quick Patreon question. Just going to lead into that based on the FIFAe World Cup. This one comes from Brendan, and he's asking, do you think well, this can't happen really because Zapjack's not American, but hypothetical. Oh, I guess this isn't about the FIFAe World Cup. Anyway, I'm just going to ask you. Do you think LJ, FK, and Abjack, so minus Chronic plus LJ, would make a better Gen G or even be able to consistently beat G2? So we're obviously looking into off-season rumors. Shout out Brendan.
I mean, right now,
LJ on that team, what do you think?
Everybody ranks LJ higher than Chronic right now, but
Yes.
that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a direct team upgrade if you swap the player. LJ is a very aggressive, offense focused player. He gets, goals basically. He's just a goal scorer, just an outplay machine right now. But the last time that he was on a team with a player of a first killer or Abjack's caliber was Daniel on SSG, and he wasn't as, obviously he was in Europe back then, even though he's still really good, but he wasn't as effective. So I'm kind of curious to see how that would work. Looking back on that, I have no idea why it didn't work, by the way. LJ Daniel should have worked. Why that was so ineffective is kind of a surprise to me.
They need to run it back, see what happens.
It actually was.
It doesn't make sense.
So inefficient. It was so bad that I actually forgot they teamed for a minute. Because
I think all of NA have as well.
This is a month ago or something. I was like, oh yeah, those guys were on a team for quite a bit, and you just don't really remember it because they didn't do much.
Yeah,
it's like the image of the guy poking the thing with the stick. It's like, come on, do something.
Yeah, they were kind of mid. They were either mid or very disappointing together. They didn't have they finished off this season. What did they get? Top 8? No, Daniel left actually at the end of the season. So yeah, it was so bad that he left the team. But that team, looking back on it, it should have been better than it was. Should have been a contender in NA with LJ being such a offensive machine. Even at the very end of that season, SSG made Worlds, and and LJ was popping off at Worlds, and Daniel didn't qualify. So Daniel's obviously insane. Surely they should have been. I don't know. I've obviously derailed this and said why didn't that team work? But it still baffles me.
I just found an absolute heater of a Patreon question, so I got to read this one. I need to hear your guys' thoughts on this. This is from Owl Emoji. He says, if there were 30 beers in a room between CJ, Rizzo, and Johnny, how many would you give to each person to have each of you be able to reasonably complete an obstacle course?
An obstacle course?
Firstly, drink responsibly. Secondly, Rizzo 1 max.
That's what I think. If you give me 10, if we evenly split, I might be dead.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I mean, follow up. We have to assume here. Are they light beers? What are we thinking? 4 or 5%? Because this changes the question.
Oh yeah, they're not craft. We're not talking 7 or something. No way. They're
well, no, I'm just saying. Even 6 is a difference maker.
Yeah, 4.
That's a lot, bro. Nah, okay. The ratio. Well, second important question: time frame. Because if you do it on 30 seconds, had to skull 10 beers each, we've got a very limited time window between having any chance of completing the obstacle course and throwing up / becoming part of the floor.
This is my domain. I think if it was spirits or something, I'd give Johnny more, but this is what I've trained for. I think beers is is water, it's hydration. So I think I can carry some 20? Of the load here. Rizzo, I think Rizzo can get 6. Oh, I think Rizzo can get 5.
You get 5. I think I'm 5. I'm good at 5.
I mean, if you've got a full stomach, you've eaten well, you're hydrated really well. These are really important things to factor.
But then it means we're going to get 13, 12.
What's the time? Can we assume a time frame?
I think if he's got the right preparation time, I think,
are we thinking 1 hour, 5 beers? Are we thinking 30 minutes, 5 beers, 2 hours? What are we thinking here?
I think if I have 12,
3 hours. Hopefully,
that's the course of
3 hours. Okay, I'll have 15. 3 hours. What? That's all
right. You know, 12 beers in 3 hours.
Complete 3 hours, I'll take 6.
CJ, it's the obstacle course. That's obstacle courses are
Well,
already
what
going
sort
to
of
be
is it like?
challenging.
Are we
We're
dodging
gamers, bro.
lasers? Is it like a Mr. Beast laser challenge?
Well, I don't know.
That's gonna
We
be
need
hard.
some more
but, like, is it-
information, bro. We need some more information. Is it an obstacle course like a where you're tied in? Is it like a high ropes course or something where we have the chance
I'm
to
just
like
thinking Wipeout. You
fall?
guys ever seen the show Wipeout?
Oh,
Yeah,
come on. We
yeah.
can't do wipe it. That's hard
Nah,
enough
we're
to
gonna
do.
get-
We can't do it sober.
Oh, I forgot.
Like, yeah.
I forgot he said complete it. Okay, my bad. My bad.
Yeah, complete. That's what I'm saying. We have to complete.
I'd
an
say
obstacle course.
5
I'm
or
like,
6.
bro,
For me, 5 or 6 is good. Whatever. There's a lot of missing information, but 5 or 6.
Rizzo, I've seen you asleep after like 2. I'm
So
more
give me 5.
worried about your
I'll
cognitive
complete it.
ability after 6. Yeah. Well, again, there's
If
so
they're-
many. I don't know. What's the ratio then? What's our
12,
ratio?
12,
of drink?
6 is a good ratio, I think, for giving us the
12,
best chance. 12, 6 is a good
agree with
ratio. Just so we have the
I
best
like that.
chance.
I like that.
We have a good chance of one of us finishing it because CJ and I are quite competitive. So if we're both on the same amount of beers, we would really try.
That's true. We
and
push
make
each
it
other
work.
along. Yeah.
We would really try. So I think if we're one of the highest completion chance, and Rizzo could be also
14,
clutch it up.
14,
He
2.
could clutch. It's definitely not going to be 14, 14, 2. Bro. I mean, do we all have to complete it or just one of us? It's just one of us. I mean, I guess 2 of us go to the
I
hospital.
mean,
and
wait,
Rizzo
think
can
about
finish
this
the
though. Think
obstacle
about
course.
this. Think about this. If you're having 12 beers, right? If we're doing 12, 12, 6. I mean, for you guys, what's 2 more beers? Like you're already at 12. What's 14? So like 14, 14, 2 doesn't even
I
seem
think
that bad.
that's called the tipping point.
Wait,
of the race.
do we do it so? Do we do it so Rizzo we can get Rizzo to complete it? Or like,
Wait,
is
yeah,
the goal
if
to
only
get
one
one
of us has
person to
to
complete it while we
complete.
drink 30 beers?
Yeah.
If so,
yeah.
14, 14, 2 is looking all right.
Actually, it looks
No.
kind
But
of
at
good
that
all of a
point, we
sudden.
may as well go 15, 15, 0 so we can get Rizzo to complete it. But I'm not sure if Rizzo could complete an obstacle course
Yeah, we
sober.
need to see
This is
the
the
course.
problem.
We need to
So
see the
maybe
course.
we just get Rizzo to have 30, and then so me and Johnny can nail this obstacle course. You know, there's a lot of different combos. Great question
oh,
though.
My days.
Great
That's
question.
a phenomenal question.
That is one of the best questions we've gotten in
That's
the
a great
Patreon
question.
asking questions.
Shout
More
out
of those
Al
kind of
emoji.
questions.
That is
Oh, it's a good one.
an absolute W. This is a good one from Desher as well. If Rocket League had a reality show spin-off, which player's life would you want to most follow and why?
Oh wow.
Who would you want to have a little, not like a day in the life, but let's have a month in the life of? Who do we want to see how they operate? I want to see. I think Turbo immediately sticks out to me because he's such a
Turbo,
I
yeah,
don't-
for sure.
Just like I don't know, he's an enigma. You know, he's a unique. I just want to see what he does for a month.
Well,
like,
okay.
what's he doing?
Hold
could
on.
just
I
game
think
every day.
personally, or not personally, but you got to think about like most of these players. It's gonna be boring as shit. So you got to choose
They just
someone.
gonna sit in their
somebody
bedroom
who,
and play video
Yeah,
games.
so I sat in my room for 16
Scrub.
hours, then went to bed.
Scrub hiding gold under his bed would be elite content. What do you-
Imagine his face
Talking
when he
about
gets
his
into balloon.
investments. That would literally be gold. That'd be content gold. That's a great shout. I'm gonna say I'm just a massive glazer these days, obviously, but I bet having a Zen kind of documentary would be
I
really
was thinking
interesting.
Zen too. I don't
He
want to
just
say
seems
it, though.
like the kind of guy who's really good at everything he does. I saw him playing ping pong in Saudi, and I was like,
Actually-
of course he's good at ping pong. Why wouldn't he be?
JNaps
Incredible at
would
this
also
as well.
be a good one. JNaps actually has a life. So JNaps would be
Okay,
great.
JNaps, that's a good shout. Actually, yeah, for sure.
I
Yeah,
can
I'd love
vouch
to see
for
a
that one.
JNaps behind the scenes. That would be cool. Get a little bit, because he's a bit more of a quiet guy and social, doesn't really put himself out there. So that would be a cool look behind the scenes to see what he's up to. I vouch that one.
All right, I'll go to Scrub's house for a month. You go to Zen's, and Rizzo, you can just hang out with Jane Apps for a bit. And
Okay,
we'll see what happens
we'll
after
film
that.
the
Throw
behind the
back.
scenes documentary.
I want to
That'll be your
throw in. I'll say Arsenal. I think Arsenal would be. He seemed like a fun
Yeah,
guy.
I think we'd be
Arsenal.
like, wow, this guy's going out a lot. He's got an RCS match tomorrow. What's going on? He's
Uh,
He's
fun.
having way
guy's
too
going
much fun.
outside.
What's he doing? Yeah, we got the players with lives. Yeah.
Yeah. I had one more here. Another W. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Yeah, this is an interesting one from Incorrect Terror. Who has had the most unfortunate career in Rocket League? And I
Oh.
bring this up because when I read it, I think I have a good one. All right. And this is, I don't think anyone would be thinking of this, but most unfortunate career, I want to say, all right, stop tagging me. It's not me. All right, it's fine. Look, we're doing okay. I know, man. Come on, it's okay.
We had a
I
good
want to
time.
say Drippe, because OCE superstar, goes from season 6 Worlds, gets top 4 with Chiefs, right? He's at that point considered by a lot of people a top 10 player in the world after season 6 Worlds, dominated. He then goes over, hops the pond and goes over to EG. Now, I think that's the most unfortunate move in Rocket League history because I don't think anyone could have done well in that roster. He had classics. He had classics and corrupted G after Chicago, because then Chicago went to G2, didn't he? That was the move, yeah. So Drippe takes Chicago spot. I think he was set up to fail, and then that just completely tanked his. I think one, it was a massive move. It was the first cross-region move in Rocket League. I think it was a massive move. He had to move his whole life. He had visa issues. I think he was in Canada for a while, and then he was down in America or something like that, staying in the EG facility. So it was a little bit of chaos getting his visa, and then gets put on a team that I don't think, in hindsight, that team was pretty much in the bin. Those players, Gabe and Classics didn't exactly, they'd already peaked. They'd already had their time in the sun at that point. And then it taints his reputation, goes downhill, comes back home, and then goes, well, what's the point? I've already gone over. I'm going to retire now. So I think, if he joined a better team over there, he could have gone to G2. They were looking at him. Obviously they went for
NRG had didn't NRG before they
NRG Turbo. They picked Turbo NRG instead of Drip as
Turbo
well.
Out of nowhere.
And then
He could have gone to NRG. He tried with NRG, tried with G2, and he went and he got EG, and then could have gone to NRG afterwards.
But
the
Turbo one, the Turbo one's crazy because he looked like he might be done after he left Dig. But then he who did he carry to top 8? He carried Classics and someone to top 8.
It was Gabe, wasn't it? Because I was Gaben's River Rats or Gaben's.
Randy's River Rats.
Randy's something.
Gaben's River Rats.
Randy Gibbons River Rats. That's what it was called. Randy Gibbons
River Rats. Fantastic though. Yeah,
they got top 4.
That kind of came out of nowhere. Turbo kind of showed, whoa, he's actually still about that grind and still wants it more. So that could have been, Drip is a good shout for that. I like that. Good.
Great one as well. Just anyone who qualified for Worlds and then COVID happened. I think that's pretty unlucky.
John
if that was the only Worlds you made.
He said COVID, and I immediately think of Mark by 8. But then again, I don't know. They did double lot.
He did win a lot online, and he did win the fall major, and he did get the MVP. So it's not like he had a bad career, but he definitely got pretty unlucky. He
definitely, when I think of a player who got just absolutely shafted, contract prison, I just think of Mark.
2 Worlds in a row, because he got benched from BDS, they made Worlds and won it, and then he got benched from it was at G1 after they made San Diego and performed pretty poorly. So he got benched from them as well, and then they just completely fell apart and didn't even make it out of wildcard. So 2 years in a row he qualified for Worlds and didn't get to actually go as a player, which is kind of unfortunate. I think he's way up there for most unfortunate career. Not sure. Could we throw a third name in the pot, apart from Mark and Drippe? Who was the most unfortunate NA player, Rizzo? Who do you think?
I don't know. I don't have anybody off the top of my head.
It's hard because
you could think it depends on the perspective. Because you think
I was going to say that
because he's been so close to winning,
but he's also had a fantastic career without winning.
So it's he's definitely had a better career than you'd say 99% of players. So it's is it really that unfortunate?
For sure.
Probably not.
Has Chicago ever won a LAN? I don't think he's ever won a LAN.
They won the major.
Won E-League. Oh yeah, he won one major. No, he's fine. Because that's right. Before they won that major, he was the top player who hadn't won a LAN, and JNAPS is the top player who hadn't won an RLCS LAN. Now they've won one. Who's the best player who hasn't won a LAN?
You could say Sipical. Sipical was the best player in North America and getting 4th every time.
Yeah, so they get a lot of high finishes. First killer's the best, but his career still got plenty more to go. So I guess
Sipical's probably the one then out of those
two. Yeah, Sipical's a good shout. That's another great question. Great questions today from the Patreon Discord. Be sure to join if you want to get stuck in. Get involved with the community.
All right, I do have one more question. I have to ask this myself because I know the boys aren't going to prop it up. But this one comes from Pinchy. He says, "Can we get a solo Q2 The entire thing was so entertaining and great content. Thank you, by the way. Especially Beast Mode playing basketball and Rizzo trying to play basketball. Speaking of, I got this photo of Air Rizzo right here on stream, if you don't mind. Taking a peek at my form. I hope you guys like that. Solo Q2.
Rizzo said before this moment, he's like, just give it to me. I'm just going to jack one up. I'm going to knock it down.
Leaked, bro. Leaked. I was telling Asper, I was dribbling on him, and I was like, just back up. I'm going to chuck this shit.
The content brain took over.
And then I shot at, he goes, what the hell?
What is
I was
that?
really... No, content brain is on point there, because, yeah, we need to get better at that kind of stuff. The vlogging and the real-life content is a different kind of brain that we haven't fully mastered yet, but that was a great example of it from Rizzo. I was really disappointed in myself when we did, like, the free throw attempts, and literally nobody hit a free throw on camera.
Yeah,
I was so... After, I was like, oh, I should have done it like a football throw-in. I should have gone, like, 2 hands behind the back. Just pretended like that's what I think you're supposed to do. I messed up there. Opportunity missed.
But to answer the can we get a solo Q2 question, that answer is we are trying. James and I are trying, and we will see if it can happen. No definitive answer, no definitive yes, no definitive no, but we're trying. And it would be dope. Moist would let us use the facility again if everything gets approved. So if it does happen, it happens. If not, so be it. But we are trying to make that happen again, because I had a great time. I hope you guys had a great time there as well. I remember the thing I remember the most, obviously the LAN event was great. That was all cool. But then afterwards, we set up PCs and we played League of Legends.
Well, we also played Rocket League. We even played Rocket League with Charlie, with Vice Critical. We played Rocket League with Matt and Danny. We were playing Rocket League, League of Legends, mostly ARAM back then, I think. It was phenomenal. Yeah. LAN parties they're great if you've got a chance to do that. I know it's kind of a thing of the past now that the internet exists, but I still think you gotta get the PCs together with the boys, all in a line, get the snacks, get 30 beers.
Speaking of that, Chalk Plays, we talked about it on the to the patrons in the bonus content over on the patreon.com/chalkcast. Again, make sure you subscribe. If you guys will be interested, we're still I'm liking the idea of a little Chalk Plays channel where we hang out, play some different games, whether it is League, whether it's people are suggesting we do a co-op Elden Ring run where they select our builds and stuff like that. Well, whatever you want. Obviously playing a bit of Rock as well. If you guys are interested in that, I'm interested as well. I'm interested in a little Chalk Plays channel.
I think it could be fun. I think it could be fun. I've never done one of those. Rizzo, have you've played on other plays channels, haven't you? Like the F2 guys, I think had plays, like John had a play channel at some point. I've never actually done a play channel.
He's had a variety channel, but I've never actively recorded separate content like that or anything.
It's funny. I mean, so many times when I have played games, I'm like, oh, I wish I was recording that. That was hilarious. And never.
Like we played League with Jesse last week, and it was hilarious. So we need maybe we just need to hit record on some of those.
We just need to
hop in with Jesse again. I was like, I don't even do much. I just go in and W them, and then they just die.
I just played W, and I auto attack the minions.
I just kill the tower and roam. It's so easy.
It's so easy.
It's overpowered. Yeah, Jesse's great. He was phenomenal. Hopefully we can play with Jesse again.
We'll record it.
Hold on, before we wrap up here, Swiggy has a question. We all have to sit here and wait till he asks his question.
Okay. Waiting.
What's your question, Swiggy?
Pause. Holding up the whole episode.
Are we going to get some Chalk League after this?
Oh,
I won't stream it, but CJ, are you gonna stream it? I don't think Johnny's gonna stream it, but I think CJ's our lead guy.
Am I the lead? Why am I the lead guy? Just keep the stream rolling.
You volunteered last time, that just didn't. By the way,
I didn't do it. I know. Do you guys want one in chat? If you want to see it, we'll play. Look, I mean,
CJ's been cooking up in the mid lane. He's been cooking up in the mid lane.
I've been cooking.
He gets nervous. He gets nervous on stream. That's why.
I get nervous. All right, well, maybe I'll just go live and you can just raid me, and then let's just roll into it. GG's, great episode 86, Rizzo. Check out the patreon.com/chalkcast.
Yeah, CJ's trying to wrap this episode because he wants to lock the fuck in and play some mid lane. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you missed any part of it, check it out on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. We'll see you soon in about 5 minutes for the League of Legends stream.
I'm streaming now. Raid me.
We'll see you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.